at the start of the show, we told you that we have a special friend, Grace, passing through our show. She's got an incredible story. And if you did enjoy my conversation earlier with the three amazing women, then you absolutely love this conversation as well. And really, we hope that you will be greatly inspired by this. So, Grace is joining us. Grace is blind at age 13, I understand. But what happened before that? She'll tell us about it. But she's gone on to do amazing things, and today she is a teacher. She's visually impaired. So, Grace Anabi is our guest on the show this holiday. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning, my dear. How are you?
I'm good by God's grace.
Great.
And you?
Ah, well, good.
Thank you for coming on the show today.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
But Grace, you're a teacher.
Yes, please.
How did you end up in the classroom?
It's a long story. I became blind at the age of 13, and aside that, I grew up in an orphanage. Because I'm an orphan, they brought me there since birth. And according to the story I met, my mother died while giving birth to me and all those stuff. So at the age of 13, all of a sudden, I became blind just like that. I woke up one day, my eyes got swollen, and they took me to the hospital. The doctor couldn't get the actual problem, and as of that, so now I'm blind.
You didn't see it or feel it coming? You didn't?
No
itching or anything of a sort?
I didn't feel anything of that sort. I started feeling those things after the blindness, rather.
And they said they couldn't do anything about it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that change your life? At age 13, you were just a teenager.
It was a whole lot. When it happened that way, you feel very bad for the first 1 year at least. Because at first you can see, and all of a sudden they have to hold your hands before you do whatever you want to do. It's a whole lot. But everything is possible if you want to. So despite all the problems or the challenges, I was able to go through some things,
Nice.
by the grace of God.
Okay. But you were telling us the story of how you ended up as a teacher.
Yes, please. So when it happened that way, I was still in the orphanage, and one man came there to visit us. He talked about school for the blind, but being in an orphanage, unless you have a sponsor. And at that time, people don't know much about visual impairment. They thought when you get into such a condition, that's the end. So it was a whole lot. The man has to help me to get to school for the blind. The man is called Francis Agbeko, because the orphanage is in the Volta region.
Okay.
Yeah, so he helped us. And when I got to school for the blind, when I come back, still those in the orphanage, the help wasn't that much. There was, and aside that too, they've not seen any visually impaired gotten that far. So in fact, they were discouraged in helping me.
Were you the only visually impaired at the orphanage at the time?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, the only visually impaired, and the first visually impaired they've ever seen.
Wow.
So it was so difficult. But when I come back from school during the vacation, I realized, in fact, how to go back is a problem. So I have to ask some of the children to help me to the bush to cut some trees. Then I'll come and gather them, prepare charcoal, sell to buy uniform. Sometimes I prepare granules with sugar. Well, they can call cut cake.
Yeah.
Yes. And I also prepare broom and all those things to sell.
All by yourself?
Yes, please.
Wow.
Yeah. So before we resume school, then at least I'll get my school uniform, some of the first. So even at that time, the gari I used to take to school, I fried the gari myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
You did that yourself?
Yes, please.
Okay, but as we do the transition for you getting into the whole profession in itself and going through schooling, how did you try to acclimatize initially when you were diagnosed or you were having your sight failing? How did you try to get grip with the reality of your situation?
Wow. For that one, you see, it has already happened. So you have to adapt to it. You have nothing to do. even if you keep thinking, crying on all those things,
It's
still
already
you are in
happened.
the situation. So you better think of how to move forward rather.
Okay, Grace, we'll come to you on how you moved forward, and we'll talk about your university days as well, because you went to the university. Studio Roland and myself with our guest Grace Anabi, who is visually impaired, but you know, she has an amazing story that she's been sharing with us. So Grace, before we went to Kumasi, you were telling us how you ended up in the classroom. But you know, you grew up in an orphanage.
Yeah.
You were not blind. You were not born blind,
No.
but you went blind at the age of 13, and there was nothing anybody could do to save your sight. But you went to secondary school through the hustle. You did things on the side, frying your own gari. I haven't heard anybody say that. All I know is that we buy gari, but you did your own gari.
Yes.
And I'm sure you did shito sometimes
Of
as
course.
well.
For JHS time, for my shito, in fact, it was so something. What I use in preparing my shito.
Maybe you can give us the formula. But you're still doing catering. I hear you take orders
Yes.
as well.
Yes. After GHS, by God's grace, I met OKF for Osei Foundation, and they helped me throughout SHS and then the university as well. But whilst they were paying my fees, you know, you can't just leave everything like that. Although, in fact, Dr. Kofi Osei is my best daddy I've ever met. Despite my orphan, that was a past tense. Currently, I have a sweet daddy I've ever met. He's very, very good. In fact, he will not pay only fees, but he will provide your needs too as well. But me, I'm somebody, I hate leaving all my burdens on somebody just like that. So despite that, I used to prepare pastries. I learned it from a friend without her notice. You know, when she's preparing it, because I can't see, I'll go and sit beside her. Then she'll think, oh, she can't see. Then she'll be like, take this thing for me. Then I'll be asking questions. Hey, really? So after mixing this, what do you use? This, that, and I use in learning all of them.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Through the oratory.
Yes.
Wow.
So I learned chips, donuts, polo, cake.
I hear you do achomo.
Yes. Very good at chomo.
Very good at chomo.
I did one for Daddy the other time, so he likes it a lot.
You know, one of the things, your adopted father, when I spoke to him, I was asking, do you have pictures? Because we really want to see Grace preparing something. Maybe we can come home and take shots of you preparing. That would be good sometime. Yeah. But how was your UCC days? Because that's where you went to university.
Yes. For UCC too, my dad was providing a lot. But I used to prepare those things. So after informing people about it, they used to give me an order. When someone is about to celebrate his or her birthday, or maybe they have a dinner or a certain handing over program, they give me an order. So I used to prepare those things, and then at least I'll take my little coins from them. So after that too, as I used to take those coins, I gathered some, sorry. So when I get to level 200 second semester, I used to pick things like dresses, shoes, panties, and all those things to sell.
Oh, really?
Yes, of course.
Wow.
And I'm still in that up till now. So
you still sell?
Yes, I still sell. Even
How
the things I'm wearing, some are
some of the products you have. I see.
So for now, when I was in UCC, I used to carry the things from room to room, you know. Then I sell evenings when I'm free. I don't have a lecture. I take the things around. But for now, I'm doing my national service at Ednaman Senior High in Elmina. So I used to carry the things to the teachers in the school, and sometimes I bring some of the things to UCC, and then I take most of them to Winneba campus, the University of Winneba. So people know me there, and they buy.
So you come all the way from Elmina, or you go all the way from Elmina to
Winneba.
To Winneba.
Yes.
That's a distance.
Of course. Of course, but you know, there is nothing impossible if you want to.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, you epitomize that. I mean, it shows that. But then how do you brace the odds, knowing that you have to go around selling items, preparing maybe food delicacies that people can relate to, but you can see. So how do you go about it? How do you market it, etc.?
For that, you know, for students, if you tell one person something, you've told everybody.
I see.
Yeah. So I try to inform those close to me or others about things that I sell. And as I tried carrying it from one room to the other in my hall, people get to know of it. I direct them to my room, and I was okay. But for now, I take them around. You know, when I take it to University of Cape Coast, I know today the things I'm carrying, I'm having about straight dress 10, panties about 3 dozens. I have this, I have that. So if I sit here and people come around after they pick all the things, then I jot them their names. Some of them, they pick it and then they pay bit by bit.
Okay.
So I'll write down the names and the amount they are owing. You know, yeah. So people used to ask me, do you have, are you not selling blender? Are you not selling food? I say, hey, my capital is not big as that. But I developed a strategy. I went to a certain man having a shop of that thing and discussed with him. So when someone asks me of blender, I'll go to the man. The man will give it to me about 100 cedis. I also said about 120, 140. Then at least I get something there. Yeah, and later too, I learned how to prepare liquid soap, Parazole.
Wow.
You know, so now I do prepare liquid soap, Parazole, and certain hair food. Yes, it makes the hair grow very well, nicely. So, yeah, I sell all
But you know, I'm amazed that you're able to, like, you've taken on so many things.
Yeah.
You're doing all these things. Why?
Mom, you know, in Ghana, for instance, per se, let me say Ghana per se, I grew up here, so I can only talk about Ghana. People normally look down on disables, of which disturbs me a lot. And it's all based on the disabled too as well. You know, now, even if sometimes I'll dress and I'll come to Kantamanto to pick my things, someone will see me, maybe I'm asking of direction, the person will not talk to me, but rather put money into my hands and then leave. I said, I'll call the person, but please, I'm not begging for money. Come for the money and direct me. This is where I want to go. You know, so because of the nature of visual impairment, those who started with this condition, they used to beg with it. It has made people look down on us. In fact, it's a problem. So me, I told myself that no matter the situation, no matter the condition, I will never beg. Because I know what disabled is. The other day I spoke about it, that who is a disabled? A disabled is not about someone who has a deformity or something. But if I know how to ride a bicycle, or I know how to prepare washi, and you don't know how to do it, you are disabled in that aspect. Yes, a disabled is someone who can do something at a particular time. So the fact that you have to hold my hand to work in an unknown environment doesn't mean I'm a disabled. But I just lose the sense of seeing. Yes, even I can't say seeing, I just lose the sense of looking. I always tell people that we don't see with our eyes. We look with our eyes. We see with the brain. Because Dr. Kofi Osei-Kusi, for instance, because he has been with me for a long time, even if he didn't talk to me, the moment I touch him, I know this is Dr. Kofi Osei-Kusi. But the sight is not there. So we see with the brain. We don't see with the side. You can just look with the side and see that, oh, maybe Dr. Kofi Osei-Kusi is fair or dark. Yeah, but I can detect Dr. Kofi Osei-Kusi with the voice or the stature. Yes. So
really, in reality, it's not like you're missing out on anything. You can see through feeling.
Yes.
And you can sense whoever you're talking to or whoever you are with.
You try to visualize.
Yes, through the voice or the stature. Yes.
But you also had a very strong message, and you've been mentioning Dr. Kofi Osei-Kusi a lot. He has a foundation.
Yes.
And really, that's where I can boldly say that's where I kind of got to know you as well. But you gave a speech, which was just last week, Friday, at the Accra International Conference Center. You spoke on volunteerism and patriotism.
Of course.
Yeah. So can you just give us a summary of your presentation? What was the core message that you wanted to present?
All right. Actually, the speech was on the role of a disabled youth in national development and patriotism.
Okay.
Yeah. And I talked about disabled having so many roles to play in our countries. You know, for instance, I'm a teacher. It is also my role to play in my country, but it's mostly based on the people in the country, because without their help it will be difficult for us to also play our role. You know, people give birth to visually impaired, or let me say the way they put it so that they understand, disabled, and then they see them to be useless, let me say useless, or they are not useful to the society. But every single person on this earth is useful, because even a mad person will be passing by. Maybe you are thinking, you are depressed at that point in time, but he or she will do something and you will laugh. Yes, it's also a help to you at that point in time. So the country, if you neglect, you know, for instance, if they tie one of your eyes or they tie your eyes, you see yourself to be a disabled person. But if they open it, then you see yourself kicking, moving up and down. Oh, I'm able. So if the country neglects parts of her body, then the nation itself is a disabled. Yes.
Knowing that everybody is part of the society,
Of
so
course.
nobody has to be neglected.
Of course. For instance, if it's not through the help of OKF, I wouldn't have been a teacher now. But my students, they cherish me a lot. If I miss school a day, you see that they will go for a teacher's phone, call me, Madam, why? Are you sick? I say, oh, you will leave me. You don't want me to rest. Then they will say, oh, Madam, not so. Teacher so and so came and taught us this about this topic, but in fact, we don't understand. So the moment I get to school, they are happy, because the way I take my time in teaching them, I take my TLMs to class, explain with an example, so it helped them a lot. Yeah. But you know, someone will see me and then say, oh, a blind teacher, how can she teach? But only my students know how
good you are.
Good I am, of course. And in fact, some people, they can see. So even if teaching is not their field, they just pass there. So they will get to the class, read to the students, and say they are teaching. But teaching is not all about reading. You need to explain, yes, for the students.
So, you know, two quick things. I want to know how you prepare for a class and how you go about, you know, teaching them. But first of all, how do you think we can include visually impaired persons or persons with any various forms of disability in national development, just as you spoke on? How do we do it practically? How?
Yes, we need to employ them. We have to give them a chance. When they make an attempt, we have to give them that chance. You know, when I was about doing my national service, they gave me a school in Kumasi, that is Tuansi Senior High. I went there to give out my letter, and the moment the secretary saw me, hey, we've not taken such a person before. So I was like, such a person, how? You standing there, you can also be a blind at any time, and you give me a try. This is just a national service. It is not a permanent work. So give me a try. If I'm not able to perform that one after the service, I'm gone. If they say they want to retain me in your school, you say no, I didn't perform well, so you don't want me. That one,
but don't just write me off because of what you think.
So because of that, she ran to the headmaster, and I wonder what she told the headmaster. The headmaster just saw me and was like, we don't do history here. Not knowing it was someone who directed me there, a close friend of mine who went there for her teaching practice. And because she can see, they allow her to do her teaching practice in history. And because I cannot see, he just judged with the, let me say, the deformity, and told me, we don't do history here. I said, really? Thank you very much.
But thank God you got a better place.
Of course.
So real quick, just before we go, because we have to go, how do you teach? How do you prepare for a class? What do you use in teaching?
Okay, I use the textbooks in teaching, but you know, I have a laptop that I have the textbook on it.
Okay.
Yes, and there is a software called JoyNews. So the laptop speaks to me. So when I want to teach, I just go through my textbook on the laptop and then use the braille to jot down some points. Then I get to the class. I teach them, you know, sometimes too, I don't jot down anything. I memorize everything and get to the class and I teach them.
You know, Grace, we're celebrating you today. You're an amazing person. We thought you had an incredible story, which you do.
Which is really incredible.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you're an entrepreneur. You do so many things, and that's in itself is inspiring. So we wish you well. Now that we're friends, we'll be talking more, and who knows, we can have you on the show again. If you want to, that's if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in fact, I would like to say one thing before we end.
Sure.
Please do. Please do.
I want to advise people in our country that, you know, when we were kids, when I became blind, for instance, when I want to go to the riverside and fetch water, because I can walk, I asked one of the children, have you bathed? He said, no, okay, let me carry this and guide me. I'll fetch the water, carry it, come back, and then we'll bath. So if you know you can't help a disabled person, like individually, maybe you don't earn much, little is much when God is in it. So I will urge them to help OKF, Osekusi's Foundation, to help people out there like me to become what they want to be in future, because every disabled has a purpose for his or her life and has something to help in development of our country.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Grace.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
And do enjoy your holiday.
Yeah.
Same to you.
What an amazing
when are
way
you
to
returning
end our
back?
show.
Please, you said
When are you returning to Elmina?
today.
Okay.
Yeah.
We dragged her here from Elmina.
You
Thank you
see,
for
huh?
making the trip. But thank you for watching the show. And I think we've had the most incredible show
Great
ever
conversation.
today on the holiday.
I really especially love the doctor among you. You know, she grew up in Ashaiman.
I knew it. When she said she grew up in you were jumping all over.
Yeah.
But listen, tomorrow, God willing, we will share a lot of your messages. I see a lot of people, a lot of you sending messages, and I'm going to give my number as for those who are asking for my number, so you can get in touch. We know the president is going to launch the nation's Builders Court today in Kumasi. As soon as that gets underway, be sure we will bring it to you live here on JoyNews. Until then, enjoy the holiday and definitely stay with JoyNews. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.